In the last video, we talked about the bird's eye view from the gardens in Singapore. That's on the foot track right up the top of the extended and high tower gardens. Well, this video, I want to talk about what happens when you're back on the ground. And you've just seen a video that shows a whole light show, which actually only can be seen from the ground. And it's spectacular because of what you've seen from the bird's eye view. And that's really important, because what happens in most cases when a business person, or for a business, they get mentors, they get consultants, they re-look at every area like warehouse, like marketing, structure, and everything else in the company. They get back on the ground, into the business, and they get in the business and not on the business. And the important thing is to not allow everything to go back the way it was, because you've got the input, you've often paid for the input into your business from the bird's eye view, and you need to actually start implementing some of these things. And what happens is people get back in the business and they go back to normal. They get either too busy with demands and pressures and things that are happening on a day-to-day basis, and no progress is made despite good intentions. And the third one, which is the most productive, is to actually starting to implement some of these things. So a very simple thing to do is to write down, while you're doing the bird's eye view, before you get back to ground level, is you write down what are all the things that need to be done in detail. And some of them will have 2 or 3 steps, each item, not just one. You then put the detail about what actually needs to be done. Then secondly, who's going to do that, by when. And you only check every week on the deadlines that are due that week. You don't sit down and go through every single item of things that aren't due that week. Otherwise you spend a day, a whole day, half day in meetings not producing anything. And I learnt this in Gloria Jean's Coffees, where we set out on all these things that needed to be done. We got all the key people together, and we're finding we're spending the whole morning on a Monday morning going through everything. And I said, this is crazy after a few weeks, because some of these things aren't due this week or even for a few weeks. So let's just look at the items that are due this week. And we found there are only 2 or 3, and the meeting was over very short time period, and people were able to get back and be productive. But it's no use getting back on the ground and going back to normal, because your business will not go forward, will not make any change, and you need to move forward and develop the actions to make sure that happens. And in my advertising days with DDB Needham, when I took over as managing director, and we went away and redeveloped our vision, mission, values, and all the actions that needed to be done, we got back and I got the key people together again and said, we've seen it time and time again where we've had these meetings with clients and they've gone back and the doors closed behind all the charts and nothing happens. I'm making sure this doesn't happen in this company. So together we need to sit down and start to implement these things. And every month at our board meeting, because the heads of each department were the board, we went through the key things for that month that needed to be done or that were coming up in the next week. And we started to see real progress, savings in money, in cost centres, but actually growth in the business, to the point where we look back over the 12 months and saw phenomenal growth in new acquisition of clients, retaining existing clients, profitability, and growth in people. And then the second year was even far more substantial because of the building on that first year. But it was because we didn't accept going back to the way it was before, or to the comfort area of doing what we did previously. Why doesn't some of these things happen? Well, we get buried in the day-to-day, fear of making change, but actually, unless we make the change, we're not going to see change. And we saw real change, real progress for the better, because we put fear aside, we put the obstacles aside, made the decisions, and made sure people started to deliver on the actions. Now, if you're a small business with only 1 or 2 people, then you've got to look for other people to be able to do some of the tasks. And it may be a secretary, receptionist, it may be someone in the finance area who's not necessarily gifted in some of these areas, but you'll be surprised what people are capable of by giving them specific tasks outside their sphere of influence. Even if they can start the journey on a task, it will actually move you slowly towards achieving change in your business. So it's time to get up above the ground and have a bird's eye view, and then be radical with changes that need to be made, get input where necessary, and then get back on the ground and make it happen. Thank you.